All right, dummies, it's a war zone here, so I'm getting out of town. I'm trying to find somewhere where I can watch these games today. So there won't be any live streams. I will try to upload videos today, game reactions, halftime reports, all that. But let's talk about the noon games. Michigan and Minnesota. Michigan had a big win last week against Southern Cal. I don't think they've suddenly figured something out. They're a bad team with a good defense. They're going to go with Georgia, going to run the ball 95% of the time. Minnesota's terrible. I would have picked Michigan to win this game, even if they would have lost by 30 last week to Southern Cal. So I'm taking Michigan in that one. They're about a 9 or a 10-point favorite. I actually bet this game earlier in the week at -9. So I got Michigan -9. I think it's up to 10 or 10.5 now. But I'll take Michigan at home. I don't think they're a great team, but I think they'll run all over Minnesota. They won't need to throw the ball to beat them. Minnesota's bad. Minnesota's so bad that they played a close game with North Carolina. So you got to be pretty bad. North Carolina's absolute dog shit. So I'll take Michigan over Minnesota. All right, BYU and Baylor. This one's weird because Baylor lost last week to Colorado, which we know is terrible. And BYU beat the absolute soul out of Kansas State, who was undefeated and had a win over Arizona. The Big 12's an absolute mess. And Baylor's a 3-point home favorite in this one over BYU. BYU is undefeated. Baylor is Baylor. They're terrible. Dave Aranda's probably going to find himself out of a job pretty soon. He's going to be promoted back to offensive coordinator somewhere. Or defensive coordinator, whatever. It's not working out for him as a head coach. And I've said before, I thought he was going to be a good head coach. When Florida hired Billy Napier, I thought they should have hired Dave Aranda. Turns out neither one of those coaches were any good. But this is one of those things where sometimes you see a line that's so weird and you're like, okay, somebody knows something I don't know. Like, why would Baylor, a terrible team who just lost to Colorado, be favored over maybe the hottest team in the Big 12? I don't know the answer. Now, I do think the Big 12 is a mess and no one's going undefeated, and there's a lot of teams that on any day could beat any of the other teams, and maybe today is one of those days for Baylor and BYU, but I'm going to have to see it to believe it. So I guess I'm going to take the Bicycle College in that one. Give me the Mormons. Give me the Door Knockers. I'll take BYU to win that one. Baylor's down bad. All right, staying in the Big 12, Oklahoma State at Kansas State. Now, Oklahoma State's one of the most disappointing teams in the country this year. They've got an offensive line full of 6-year seniors. They returned the best running back in college football, at least numbers-wise, from last year in Ollie Gordon. And this guy's been on a milk carton, Ollie Gordon, all year. The offensive line has played bad. The quarterback has played okay at times, Bowman, but their defense isn't very good. They lost to Utah last week without Cam Rising, which is hard to do. I mean, Utah without Cam Rising is a 4 or 5 loss team. I mean, look at them last year. So I'm very disappointed in Oklahoma State. Now, they play Kansas State, who got absolutely destroyed last week by BYU, like we just talked about. But I haven't seen really enough or anything at all from Oklahoma State at any point during this season to make me comfortable enough to pick them. At least with Kansas State, they've got that decent win over Arizona. I don't know what happened to Kansas State last week. That was probably the weirdest outcome of the week, to get blown out on the road. You go on the road, you lose to BYU, fine. They got absolutely destroyed in that game. Punt returns for touchdowns, and there's turnovers. Just everything went wrong. I don't see that happening again at home this week for Kansas State. I'm going to take Kansas State over Oak State. All right, Kentucky on the road at Ole Miss. One really good team, one really bad team. I don't care anything about the 13-12. 13-12 doesn't mean Georgia's going to lose 5 games, and 13-12 doesn't mean Kentucky's going 9-3. Kentucky's not any good. Their quarterback's a disappointment. I hate to say that. Brock Vandagriff from Augusta, or from I'm from Augusta. Brock Vandagriff from Georgia. He hasn't been good. I don't know what happened. The Georgia game, you want to put stock in that, go ahead. But, Kentucky blown out by South Carolina. Now they got to go on the road. I don't trust this. Ole Miss is an absolute machine. They have ran through, over, and around everybody they've played. Who have they played? Good question. A bunch of nobodies. I get it. They did play Wake Forest, technically a Power 4 team, although they're an ACC team. And ACC, holy shit. What are y'all doing? Miami. Good God. Anyway, so no, Ole Miss hasn't played a bunch of top 10 teams. Breaking news. But if you watch them play, they're pretty good. They're pretty damn good. They score every way imaginable, and they score quick, fast, and in a hurry too. And they look like they might be better along the lines of scrimmage this year, which that's what's been holding them back. They beat all the deadbeats last year, but then when they had to play the Georgias, the Bamas, they just couldn't get it done. Dominated along the line of scrimmage. Same reason Georgia lost to Alabama, by the way. Big game tonight. So yeah, they beat Wake Forest. Nobody cares. They're a 15-point favorite. Ole Miss is at home. That's just. I feel like Ole Miss is going to win this game by 4 touchdowns. I might bet on this game. Right now, the only bet I have on any of the noon games is Michigan -9. Should I take Ole Miss -15? I feel like Ole Miss is going to destroy Kentucky. Am I wrong? I've been wrong before. If you've been on this channel long enough, you might remember this. Back in 2019, I actually picked Georgia to beat South Carolina. And of course they didn't because Jake Fromm had 4 turnovers. And Hot Rod missed a field goal or 2. So I've been wrong before. Could be wrong again. I feel like Ole Miss is going to roll. Should I bet on that game? Y'all tell me. I'll do whatever y'all tell me to do. Y'all tell me to bet on Ole Miss -15. I'm not betting Kentucky +15. Shut up with that dumb shit. But if y'all tell me to bet Ole Miss -15, I will. Should I? What should I do? Shout out to beautiful Washington Road in Augusta, Georgia. Augusta National Golf Club's about 2 miles that way. Yep. No power, though. I bet you the Augusta Nationals got power. They print their own money out there. Anyway. All right, there you go. There's my thoughts on some of the noon games. Again, I'm in the car now on the way out of town. I'm going to find somewhere, probably in Columbia, South Carolina, that I can sit and watch these games all day. A Wild Wings or something, so I can watch. There's just too many good games on today. There's never a good weekend for something like this to happen, but this is terrible. Georgia-Alabama game tonight, of course, one of the biggest games of the year. I'd love to be able to stream it, but it is what it is. At least we're all okay, I guess. But there's just, the power is out here, and it's probably not coming back on till Monday or Tuesday, they said. So, no gas stations are open, no grocery stores, or there's no, there's just, it's like zombie town here. It's a fucking war zone. So I'm getting out of town, headed to Columbia, find somewhere to watch the games. I will be uploading reaction videos all day long. I'll make another one of these videos, too, about the 3:30 games and then one about the primetime games. But I'm doing the best I can. I'm down bad. I'm down bad with no power. Miami got lucky to win that game last night. Did he catch that ball? I don't know. Here's what I think about the end of that Miami game, honestly. However they called it on the field, there's no way they could have overturned it. So I think if you want to say Miami got lucky or cheated, whatever, with the refs, here's what I'll say. If they got lucky in that it was called incomplete pass on the field. Because however it would have been called on the field, replay couldn't have overturned it either way. Miami lucky to get away with that one. Anyway, have a great day.